What's up, YouTube? I'm Danielle, and this is Kitchen Optimist. I'm a novice cook, but expert eater, taking on recipes that scare the sugar out of me 1 teaspoon at a time. I don't know why it scares me. I've made plenty of cupcakes, and none of which have killed anybody, most of which have been pretty yummy. But something about upsizing that intimidates the hell out of me. Today, we're going for it. We're going for it in the form of a German chocolate cake. I can't have had it more than a couple of times, but each time it has been, I'm not gonna say orgasmic, that's pushing it a bit, but it has been everything I wanted it to be and more. The recipe I'm using is from the website tastebetterfromscratch.com. I have done a few of her recipes before. I have always been happy with them. Fingers crossed that this one will be no different. So let's get started. First off, we are preheating our oven to 375 and prepping our 9-inch cake pans. I should not have pulled off that much of the paper. She does suggest lining the pans with parchment paper, so I did go ahead and buy the 9-inch parchment rounds, which are apparently too big. I did not take into account the fact that the pans are narrower at the base than at the rim, so it also turns out that pens don't write super well on parchment paper. Cool, good to know for the future. It's a little eyeballing. Not perfect, we're gonna call it good enough. Two cups of granulated sugar. 1 3/4 cups all-purpose flour. 3/4 cups unsweetened cocoa powder. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1½ teaspoons of baking soda and baking powder. Feel like this was not the best utensil. Two large eggs that are room temperature. Against all odds, no shells. 1 cup of buttermilk, also room temperature. I don't know, do I need to shake this? ½ a cup vegetable oil. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Cup of boiling water. She does say that it is supposed to be pretty runny, so mission accomplished. Now into the oven for 25 to 35 minutes, and I will know it's right when I can get toothpick out of the center clean. Pecans chopped and ready. The cake's cooled for 5 minutes in the pan. All right, well, hopefully they're not supposed to, oh, it did come out. All right, this is so much more successful than the Joconde cake for the opera cake. I already feel like this is cause for celebration. We won that battle. The war is still yet to be decided. Some of the comments talked about how their cakes fell apart when they tried to frost them. And then some of the other comments said that they froze the layers before frosting and it worked really well. I did a little Googling, and it seems to be a pretty standard consensus amongst bakers to at least freeze them for 3 hours. For the coconut filling, let's get those yolks ready to use. Evaporated milk, 3/4 of a cup. And now we'll move over to the stove. ½ a cup of butter. ½ a cup of granulated sugar, ½ a cup of light brown sugar, the evaporated milk, and the egg yolks. Just gonna break those guys up. Tablespoon of vanilla, the approximate cup of chopped pecans, and 1 cup sweetened shredded coconut. Now we wait for this to completely cool, and hopefully it will be thicker then too. The cake's still warm, far from room temperature, but cool enough to put in the freezer. Wrap them completely in cling wrap. Wrap them completely in tin foil. And then put them individually in Ziploc bags, attempting to get as much air as possible out. All right, into the freezer, 3 hours. Now the only thing left to make before assembly is the chocolate frosting, but like the eggs, where I only took out half of the quantity I needed to get to room temperature, that's what I did with the butter. So I am waiting for my half a cup of butter to come to room temperature so that I can make the frosting. Since I'm waiting for 3 hours, this doesn't affect the timing anyway. So I'm gonna hydrate, take my dog for a walk, maybe have a snack so I don't get crabby, and still have plenty of time. See you soon. Here we go, it's frosting time. It's a melt just half cup of butter, which I'll do in the microwave. And it was only a couple minutes ago that I realized that instead of putting a half cup of butter in my filling, I put half a pound. So I doubled the butter in the German chocolate filling without doubling anything else. Yay me. And I also couldn't adjust those ratios if I wanted because I don't have any more pecans. Right, I need to add 2/3 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa to my half a cup, not half a pound, of melted butter. Then 1/3 of a cup of evaporated milk, 3 cups of powdered sugar. And I'm gonna beat in alternating. I will say, I thought this was a recipe that I wouldn't need the stand mixer for. The thickness of this chocolate frosting is making it challenging for this little mixer to properly combine all the pieces. I don't know if I buy this as quite enough frosting for a whole cake. I think this is spreadable. Teaspoon of vanilla. I thought it was gonna feel like frozen. It does not. Spread this over the top of the bottom thin layer. And try to build up this little area with a little extra frosting. Now, I cheated a little bit. Put my filling in the fridge to help it set up a little bit more since I doubled the amount of butter I'm supposed to have. It feels okay. I mean, compared to nothing, I don't know. So I'm supposed to use half of this and spread it, leave it at least an inch from the side. Sorry, maybe a ½ inch. Let me check. ½ inch from the side. I don't have enough. Now the question here is, do I go for it and try to frost the sides, knowing full well there will not be enough? Or do I save it and put it on the top? I guess I'm gonna try. Okay, it's possible I spoke too soon. It feels like a mirage. Like every time I think I'm getting close to the end, there's so much more frost. I can also see how without the firmness of the freezer, I can see these layers falling apart pretty easily. Well, look at that, wasn't I wrong? I don't really have enough to do the cute little curlicues that she does, because now I'm supposed to put the other half of this on top, and it's sort of supposed to be contained by little decorative dollops of frosting, and I do not have enough for that. Try to make it look intentional, not like they were supposed to go the entire circumference of the cake, but that I don't have enough. That couldn't be more off center if I tried. All right, that's all she wrote. So this is what we got. She's not beautiful, she's not correctly proportioned, but she might still be delicious, so let's try her out. The cake is some of the best chocolate cake I've ever had. The cake is so good. It is light, it's spongy, it's not dense, it's super chocolatey. It's really good. The frosting is good too. If I didn't know in advance that I had messed up the ratios, I don't think I would think that there was anything wrong with the coconutty part, but it is thinner because there's still only so much you can slop on the cake. So I think I am missing a little bit of that coconut nuttiness, caramelized sugar piece to counterbalance the chocolate. So if you are a chocolate lover, perfect, don't change a thing. And I also think it needs more frosting. I did not have enough to decorate it the way that she did. I will absolutely make this again. I think it's a win, but I would certainly freeze the layers for the 3 hours. They're so soft and spongy. I can't imagine them standing up to the thickness of this frosting and how much pressure you need to put it on without some of the firmness from freezing. I also don't know what I'm talking about. I could be wrong. I would never again use my hand mixer for it. It was too thick for that beater. It just was, that beater was struggling to make it through there. Absolutely stand mixer next time. Definitely a win. I feel proud of myself for having made my first cake, even though I made mistakes. Sometimes things with mistakes still come out good. This is one of them. So how do the numbers work out? It took me 5 hours and 17 minutes and 2 seconds to make this. That does count the 3 hours of freezing time for the layers, but it's important to keep in mind that in that time I did make the filler, I did make the topper, and the filler didn't cool all the way down much before that 3 hours. So if you were truly waiting for the filling, the coconut piece to be really room temperature before spreading it, I don't know you would save much out of that 3 hours. The ingredients were $81.37. The equipment was $222.02. And that is with the hand mixer accounted for, not the stand mixer. You probably have a lot of this stuff in your house. You might have cake pans, I didn't. You might have parchment rounds, I didn't. You might have an offset spatula, I didn't. But you might have a rubber spatula, you might have mixing bowls, all that good stuff. So you're not fully stocking your kitchen to do that. It's a good cake. I would make it. I will serve it to people. I will get fat eating it myself and love every bite of it. What I've learned here is double the butter, no one's ever mad. Grease your pans, parchment paper is your friend. Double the frosting. French opera cake I made also needed the frosting to be doubled. Maybe I'm just a heavy-handed froster. I don't know, but I am proud of myself for trying this. Excited to have a new dessert to bring places. If you'd like to see me struggle even more making a cake, you can watch me try a French opera cake for the first time by clicking here. What dishes scare you? What should we try next? What is a scary dessert? Let's conquer our kitchen fears together. I'm Danielle, and this is Kitchen Optimist. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and stay sweet.